Okay, let's turn our attention to the reading test. The good news about the reading test is it's probably the easiest test for you to raise your score on, because I've had students go from below average to considerably above average, and I've had students go from considerably above average, for example, 650 on the SAT, to well over 750. So don't think just because it's already a strength for you that you don't have room for improvement, because it's easier to raise a strength sometimes than it is to raise a weakness. So I want you to think about that, and let's take a look at the pillar one, which is the structure of the test. Now, both tests have some similarities. For example, one section of each test is a reading section. It's the reading test. They both have 4 reading passages that are regular. That is, they have a passage with a group of questions related only to that passage. But they also each have a paired passage. That is, they each have 2 passages that are related to one another, and the questions ask about the first passage, then the second passage, and then about the combined passages. A huge difference in the 2 tests is that the ACT is 35 minutes, the SAT is 65 minutes. For some students, trying to read and answer questions for over an hour without an interruption is a problem. So you do need to follow through with what we've recommended and try both tests on for size to see how it works. The 35-minute ACT has 40 questions, so you have less than a minute per question, which means that time can be a problem, and for a lot of kids it is. The 65-minute SAT has 52 questions. Well, now you've got more than a minute, but the passages are longer. So I can't predict for you which one may or may not be an advantage, so you've got to go try them both. Now, they both reference lines. You'll see questions that say in lines 22 to 36 or something of that sort, and it makes it easy to go back and find where the part of the passage is that answers the question. What you don't know is if that's going to help you or not, and neither one's going to be an advantage because they both do about 30% of the questions have line references. Now, question arrangement. Both questions on the SAT and the ACT are randomly organized in terms of how they relate to the passage. That is, you might see a question that's a late question that's about the first part of the passage, or you might see a question that's in the middle of all the questions that's about the late part of the passage. So you can't use that guide in terms of where the question is. They both have the same topics. They both cover narratives and literary topics. They both have social science. They both have sciences. The ACT additionally has a humanities passage. And the double passage for both tests could be about any topic. Now, remember I said they had 5 passages. The one thing you got to keep in mind is on the SAT, there's a narrative, there's 2 social science, there's 2 natural science, and the double passage can be about any topic. On the ACT, you're going to get a literary passage, a narrative passage, a social science passage, and a humanities passage, as well as a natural science passage, and the double passage could be about a variety of topics. So that's the description in a nutshell of the structure of the test, and you've got to keep it in mind, but the important part of your improvement in your score, after you understand the nature of the game, the structure of the game, is we're now going to turn our attention to strategies that specifically can be used on test A so that you can improve your reading test score.